And we're live, back once again for another episode of We Are Seek and Strike podcast. I'm your host, Chris Walker, and with me, as always, Josh Kaskinen. Josh, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Almost the end of the week.
That is right, man. You know, we started these podcasts off on Taco Tuesdays, and, you know, we were doing it over at the Salt Yard, and, you know, each week.
Times.
Yeah, simpler times. Each week, you know, we had an ideal spot to record, you know, and I think Carrie, the owner of Salt Yard, for definitely hooking us up. You know, each episode definitely was an interesting one. I think we tried to bat down a lot of sound for a while, you know, and then of course, you know, we ended up doing these here at the house because. For one, I think it was like St. Patty's Day we were smart enough to realize to not tape at Salt Yard on St. Patty's Day. And then and then of course, then this whole thing happened with COVID. So, you know, here we are just kind of doing these recordings from the crib, a little different. I like them just as far as the way the sound is, a focus, you know, you don't, you know, but I mean, I do kind of miss being at Salt Yard on a Taco Tuesday. And, you know, I'm thinking, you know, quite possibly, you know, every once in a while when we get back to the Salt Yard, you know, that I might be springing for some dollar fish tacos if folks want to come and join our live tapings of the show.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you know, it's something to kind of do. I mean, you know, who can't go wrong with some dollar fish tacos? So it's kind of what I'm thinking. But yeah, man. So I just want to check in with you since our last episode. You know, have you had some time to like kind of let that all sink in? I mean, what was your weekend like after that?
Yeah, the weekend. I'm trying to remember if I really did anything special over the weekend, but you know, I think it was a good conversation that we had, and for me, just being able to learn and listen and hear these different perspectives, I think it helped me to kind of, you know, just to get a voice on it. So definitely been thinking a lot and trying to see what we can do going forward. And it was good to have that conversation, I think.
Yeah. I really liked it too. I mean, just be able to hear like everyone else's perspectives and to hear things that I hadn't heard before, like experiences, you know, it was a great conversation. In fact, we got so much feedback from it. Just like days after, different people who had heard it. I wanted to make sure that it circulated a little bit more, so I boosted it on Facebook, and you know, it looked like we had about maybe about 300 playthroughs. So
pretty solid.
Yeah, folks checked it out. It definitely had
some people from other supporters groups of other clubs around the league. I know Harry in San Antonio, he heard it. I don't know if anybody in San Diego heard it, but it was getting around.
Yeah, I know that the Elliot out in Richmond, Virginia, heard it as well. Okay. My parents listened to it, which is great. You know, that they checked it out. You know, I'd like to say that they check them all out, but you know, they check out ones that I send to them directly. So, but it was a great conversation nonetheless. And I hope that we actually have more of those conversations. I hope that we don't just kind of bubble it for just one time, because, you know, it's easy to kind of do that. You know, of course, this week, you know, something a little different. You know, and of course, my decision really was to run it as the video versus what we normally do, which is like putting it into audio format right away, just because I wanted people to be able to kind of see the people that we're talking and hear, you know, who is speaking. And I think that you can kind of lose that when
it's audio only.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll drop it out in audio now. I mean, maybe like tomorrow, so that folks who maybe just want to hear it when they're driving again, that you have that amenity. So last Friday, I went to the Breonna Taylor birthday vigil at UNM Duck Pond. This was a amazing event. There were so many people there in support of this young woman, and excuse me about that. And, you know, it was great. I mean, I was joined with some friends. There were so many people there surrounding the duck pond. Everyone had these candles, you know, and we were all lighting them. It was a kind of a windy night, so it was like you're trying to
keep your candle lit.
That's true. Try not to get candle wax on yourself. They had tons of community speakers. So it was a very powerful evening nonetheless.
Awesome.
It was just great to see Albuquerque come out like that again.
Yeah, it's from what I've been seeing, and I don't live in Albuquerque, but it seems like Albuquerque's had a pretty positive response and kept it, for the most part, peaceful. For the most part.
Yeah, well, there was even a separate march that was going on. So that march that led up to
that was the same day?
Yeah, it was actually within the same hour. So that march came on to the same scene. So we were joined by even more people. It was an amazing thing. We had folks with 2 poles saying "Justice for Breonna Taylor." Different people who had different signs. Like I said, that it was pretty much everything that you could ask for.
Awesome.
Yeah. Aside from that, so I guess in addition to that, the next day on Saturday, and I didn't go to this, but I know that they had a silent protest over at, or they had a protest over at Rio Rancho City Hall, as well as the Albuquerque Civic Plaza. So there were 2 more events on Saturday, and then on Sunday there was the event called Strong Black Fathers. This was a amazing event. Arthur Bell invited me to it, and a bunch of us. And so this event, really featured a lot of youth that were getting a chance to speak. But it wasn't just youth. Salim Muhammad spoke as well. So different people, I guess, of different platforms spoke.
Yeah, voices
that
in the
day,
community,
if you will. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't get there for the whole thing. Some others were there before me. I got there about halfway through. I was kind of struggling that day. I'm not going to lie. It was a hot day, and I was trying to figure out where to park in Albuquerque. Everything was shut down. Well, then after that, there was the Black Culture Celebration that was in the park at Roosevelt Park. If you missed that, I think you missed out on what was a good hangout. There was a lot of people there. There was some different artists performing, spoken word rappers as well. It was just a good time to be there in the community, and again, just another instance of seeing people come out. And you had the folks from the Strong Black Fathers event, which was separate, coming over to the park, for this other event. So 2 different rallies happening, and very strong attendance in both. You're gonna have to make it down here sometime, Josh.
I'm gonna have to, yeah.
Yeah, and then lastly, man, just to kind of cap off, on Wednesday, Michael Silva and Charles Ashley, they did a silent march in Nob Hill. Okay, and so Michael Silva is one of the owners of Rude Boy Cookies, and so they did a silent march from Richmond to Carlisle and back to Richmond, and then had a community speaker speaking for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, which was, of course, the time that George Floyd was, suffering under that police officer's knee. Mm-hmm. And so, what's very interesting just to point out about the silent protests that, excuse me, that's my cat. He's like going crazy over there. What's interesting to point out about the silent protests that Michael Silva is doing is that each one is kind of different, and, and they're bold, like in a different way, because it's not like a full audible protest. It's like they came out there, they amassed as a big group, and there's a statement that they're making, and then once it's over, that's it. Like it just adjourns.
And I think that can still be powerful even without, the voice, the vocal part of it. Like just seeing that many people standing silently definitely says something in a different way, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So I guess, tonight our episode's a little different. Obviously, we've introed this a little bit online. I thought it was a perfect time for us to have this next guest on our show. Obviously, we've watched him do so much in Albuquerque over the years, and I'm sure he's just getting started. So our next guest joining us is Gabriel Legendre. So we'll go ahead and bring him in. Hey, what's up, Gabe? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Hey, we're doing good, man. We're doing good. We're glad to have you on the show finally.
Thanks for being here. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man. So how is your quarantine summer going?
It's going pretty well. I mean, I had a job for like 2 weeks, but that didn't go so well. I was working overnight shifts, and it did not do very well for me in my soccer, and so I had to stop that and start training more. And so far, I'm just training and trying to get better.
Okay. Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Did Cleveland do some sort of drive-through or virtual graduation ceremony?
Yes, we did a drive-through ceremony,
Awesome.
and yeah, that went really fun and really nice.
Obviously it's like not how you planned it and different than what you would have hoped, but at least you got some sort of recognition there.
Yeah, and my family was there, so it turned out to be a really good time.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So have you got to watch any Bundesliga?
No, I have not. I've been watching more like highlight videos and more like past games and stuff like that. I haven't really been up to date with all that.
Okay. What are some of the past games you were watching?
More Premier League games. I've been watching a lot of Manchester United play games and
Yes,
Chelsea.
finally.
Yeah, so yeah, I've been trying to watch them and see how they play and try and get that to where I am and just to play better and try and be like one of the pros.
Okay. What kind of attributes or what kind of skill attributes were you honing in on? Like, is it like the speed game or?
More trying to find players and try and find space. More trying to be smart with the ball and what to do in certain scenarios. For me, and I was trying to see like what players do so I can do that in a game, or what skills they have so I can even practice that and try and do it in a game.
Okay. You've played both midfield and striker, correct?
Yes, sir.
What do you see yourself as, in the primary position?
Well, it really depends on like what team I'm playing for and like what the coach really wants, because I love playing on the field. Doesn't matter where I'm at, and so wherever you put me, I'll play my hardest and I'll try and learn that position the best I can. So like in club, I was playing midfield, and so I can get the ball distributed and get the team organized. And in high school, I was playing forward, so I can try and get the ball and score and get my team up.
Right. Cool.
Right on. So, are you happy about Major League Soccer being back at this point?
Oh, yes, sir.
And of course, the Prems, right? Premier League's coming back.
Yes, sir.
That's cool. So you are a Manchester United fan?
Yeah, I'm a Manchester United fan.
Dude, that's so awesome, man. That's so awesome.
I think this is the first guest that Chris has had that is a fellow fan of Man U with him.
Yeah. I think that should be like a question before they come on the show, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reason why I asked you about Bundesliga is because like they had when I started watching it, like this time around, they had the artificial fan noise, and I wondered if you had heard about that.
No, I have not.
So the Fox broadcast, they were basically piping in fan interaction. So like cheering, like chant songs, like all the things that you normally would hear actual fans doing in matches. And it kind of raised a stir a little bit because of the fact that, there are no fans in the actual crowd. But the biggest part of it was that the players couldn't hear the noise. So it's just basically like only for the broadcast, only for the person watching the program. And it was only the U.S. that piped in the sound. Like other countries didn't have that in their broadcast.
Oh, okay.
So you're watching a team that's got home field or home pitch advantage, right? And they're losing like 5-0, and they got all this chant behind them. You're thinking like, dude, how are they losing 5-0 with the crowd in their favor? Only to find out that they can't hear it. So it just didn't really amount to making the team better,
Yeah.
I would almost rather just like be able to hear the coach yelling and hear the players talking to each other rather than hearing artificial fan noise. That's just me.
I'd rather hear that too. Yeah.
So hey, Gabe, we know that you're a Man U fan. Is there any other teams that you like to root for besides United, whether in the United States or in another country?
I'm a big fan of Juventus as well. I've been a big fan since I was little, and I've
Before
always
Ronaldo.
yeah, before Ronaldo, way before Ronaldo. I used to be a big fan of Buffon and all those players back then. So
Nice. Any other clubs in the U.S.?
I used to be a big fan of Chicago Fire when I was little as well. I was a big fan because my dad's a firefighter and just looked like the firefighter symbol, so I was like a big fan of them right away. So
That's nice.
Yeah.
Gosh, and they've had so many different logos, haven't they?
Yeah, they have.
They definitely have. Yeah, so now, obviously we want to introduce you a little bit more, like, for the people that are watching the show. So you obviously just finished, you just graduated, as Josh said, from Cleveland High School, Sioux Cleveland High School. And and you played soccer there. You're a 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year. That to me is amazing. I have to say congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I was reading some of the things that Gatorade wrote about you. So you overall, obviously you've got 89 goals, like, in your career there at the high school, 30 assists.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this season and then the previous season, you had 30 goals in each season.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy, man. Like, is there any particular goal? And like I said, that you got 30 from each year, so this question's very loaded. But are there particular goals that you remember that stick out to you?
Yeah, I was really wanting to win state. It's junior year. That was a big goal for me to win state. And really, I really wanted to get Gatorade Player of the Year. Since freshman year, I looked up and saw Gatorade Player of the Year banners, and I saw a couple of the players, and I thought, like, I really want that. That's something I want to get. And so sophomore year, I was training a lot more. I was really shooting for that goal. And then junior year, I think I got a lot better, and I scored a lot more goals. And it wasn't just me, it was my team as well. They really helped me with that, and we got it done. We won state, and I just wanted to repeat it my senior year, try and win state again, try and win as much games as we can. And so I pushed myself, and I got up to 30 goals again.
Josh, you want to?
Yeah, so let's see what's next. So right, back junior and senior year, 30 goals. And then you were selected to the all-state team 3 times.
All-state.
Is there? Go ahead.
Yeah. The first team all-state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So is there? Do you know what the process is like for how they select those players? Is there a certain criteria?
I think the coaches come together.
It's like a coach's vote.
Yeah, and they vote for the players to see who's first team, second team, and honorable mention. And, that says a lot about you as well, that other coaches from around the city and around the state are recognizing your talents too. Yes, sir.
Cool. And you're getting it done in the classroom as well with a 3.44 GPA is what I have here on my notes. So good job all the way around, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's like a really good balance too. I mean, to be able to score in the classroom, so to say, and then also on the pitch so consistently. I mean, what's the motivation? I mean, obviously besides playing soccer, I mean, how do you do just that? How do you, being so into soccer, how are you also able to stay so into the school as well?
Well, so I'll take it back to my freshman year. My freshman year, I was very lazy with school, and me being very lazy at school kind of made me a lazy player as well. And so I needed to change that. And so sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I just got more responsible and more focused in school. And then that just brought me to be more focused out on the field and at training, and it just all came together.
That's interesting that like your drive in the classroom directly affected your drive on the field. Yes,
sir. Yeah,
it's pretty fascinating. So besides the state championship junior year, any other fond memories from high school? Favorite subjects you like to study?
I like to study science, and my favorite was chemistry. I'm going to Fort Lewis to try and major in chemistry as well. But yeah, other than that, some fun memories would just be with my teammates, the team dinners, just before practices, after practices, before games, after games. We would always hang out and just be together, and it was just really fun.
Awesome.
That is cool. That kind of brings me back to like memories of when I like played sports in high school too, and just those team dinners. You always got the spaghetti and pasta kind of combo.
Carbo loading.
Yeah, man, just totally. You know what I mean? So that's cool. That's the feels. He in so many ways like he like helps me like remember my youth. It's like half of my life already. So
I have one more for you here before I kick it back to Chris, and I'll say I have younger brothers. When I was a senior in high school, they were freshmen and they were on the cross country team with me. So best and worst parts of having your brother as a teammate.
Best parts. I'll go with that first.
You don't want to get you in trouble.
Well, he's basically like another me. So he definitely knows when certain scenarios, he knows where I'm going. I know where he's going. So we play together very well. And it's really fun to play with him. The worst things is that, I guess it's the best thing for me. I'm able to yell at him, not like more, And so I get to yell at him and be more rude to him than anyone else.
More than you would with another teammate? More than you would yell at
because like I don't yell at team. Yeah, I don't really yell at teammates. I try to bring them up or I tell them like, hey, maybe we should do this. My brother, I kind of go, what are you doing? So so it's a little bit different. And it's super fun to play with him. Even those times where I'm yelling at him, where we argue on the field or he doesn't pass it to me. Instead, he tries to score by himself. But like, but it's super fun all around to play with him. And it's going to suck that I don't think I'm going to be playing with him again pretty soon. So, but maybe in the future I'll be able to play with him again. But it was really fun. It was a fun time.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So Gatorade also has that you're a volunteer firefighter in the village of Corrales. So how'd you get into doing volunteer firefighting?
Yeah, so that was my first job. It was my junior year leading up to senior. Oh no, it was my sophomore year leading up to my junior year, and I needed to work. And it wasn't more volunteering; it was more of like an actual job. But it was like a youth program, and so I was getting paid, and I was helping around the fire station, helping them, cleaning things up. If they needed anything, I would give it to them. If they come back from a call, I would help clean the truck or stuff like that. And I was able to see things and do things what other people won't be able to just because of all the skills they had.
Right.
And so it was definitely a new experience, and I loved it all around.
Do you think that is? I know you're talking about wanting to, really, really pursue and study chemistry, but do you see yourself doing more with firefighting like over the next couple of years? Like, do you think that you would get back into that at some point, or?
I don't really think so. My dad's a firefighter, and he keeps trying to tell me like, hey, you should be a firefighter. I'm like, I'll do something different. And so I want to be a chemist and hopefully like a really smart scientist, because I'll be the first one in my family to be a scientist, and that'd be really cool.
There he is, just paving the ways, Josh, just paving the ways.
It's awesome. We'd love to see it. Yeah.
So in a minute, I guess it also had said that you were working on like, probably what, landscape, like I said, like beautification projects. So you're, was that like more like trails clean up and whatnot?
Yeah, there we would go to people's houses. If they needed anything to fix, we'd try and fix it for them. It was small things in Corrales that we did.
That's cool. Right on. Everyone needs a helping hand, so can't go wrong with that.
Corrales is such a neat little place. I used to go ride my bike through there. It's just such a cool little village,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is a nice little drive through the town for sure. So through high school, obviously, you played Interim Rush. You played for the Soul as well, obviously in the summers, and then you're the first member of the high performance program. I have this question for you, and this is from our other host, Alicia, who couldn't be here and wanted to tell you congratulations as well. Her question was, How did it feel when United had asked you to play against Cardiff City? Like when you actually got called in at the was it the 77th minute or some sort like that?
Yeah. So when they told me I was going in, I was super nervous. I was really nervous. I was shaking. I was warming up, and I don't know what was going through my mind then. Like I was thinking about so many scenarios of me messing up or something. So I was super scared and nervous. But as soon as I got onto the halfway line to go in, all my nerves just went away. I heard everyone chanting my name, and I just felt super confident going in.
What did Josh Goss say to you when you guys obviously had that small exchange before you went on?
He just said basically just to go out there and do my thing, and just do my thing.
I think you impressed that day, man. You had some nice touches, and there were dudes that were quite bigger than you, but you were right on the ball, and it was awesome to see.
Yeah, the opposing team was very tall and very big. But before I went in, I decided to 15 minutes I should probably play smart and get off the ball, move the ball around, and stuff like that. And I thought it went very well.
Yeah,
I would agree.
I would definitely say so. I mean, there was probably one instance where I thought that you had a nice run that you might have actually got a shot to take it in on a 1v1 situation. Of course, their guy marked you quick, but
yeah.
And then also, and then she also asked, so being a part of the high performance program, how has that helped you as not only a player but as a person?
Yeah, being part of that, I feel like I have to be more of like a leader and show everyone like what you should be able to do, what you need to be able to do, what you have, like where you have to be professional, where you have to go, and basically, yeah. Hold up, wait 1 second.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, like, and let me say this, right? Like, if you think about it, some of these structures like weren't in place for like you to do this, right? So I mean, when you started off playing high school soccer, I mean, at that time the Lobos program was still around, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think my junior year, the end of my junior year.
Right. Okay. So your junior year. So, I mean, the Lobos program was still around. I mean, you probably didn't think that program was going away and that there would be, an exchange, like I said, that there would somehow be this high performance program or a way for you to kind of get a taste of professional soccer a lot sooner than what most people do, which is going to school, getting drafted. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, no, it was a big hit for me with that the UNM Lobos went away, because I was talking to them and I was really hoping to go to UNM and play soccer for UNM, and so it really sucks that the program went away.
So, with it kind of branching off on the high performance program, obviously with the pandemic, the USL League 2 season has been canceled. But we had kind of been guessing that you might be on that U23 squad. Do you think there might be a chance for that in the future, something that you might want to do next summer?
Yes, sir. I was actually going to be on the team, and I was looking forward to that as well. And then when they canceled it, it was a bummer. But definitely in the future, next year, I definitely want to come back and play for them.
And that could definitely like pay dividends for you after a season of college soccer, under your belt. Comes back to League 2 after that. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, like you say it, Josh. I mean, if he were to play U23, obviously, I mean, and let's be frank here. He played with Albuquerque Soul, so he played.
That is U23.
Yeah, he played with guys that were already on that level. It may look a little different based on maybe who United ropes in as their U23 players, like where those guys come from, whether they are about the equivalent of what we saw with Seoul, or whether they're like, other guys like, what was his name? he played for the Cincinnati Dutch Lions. He had come to us on a trial.
Oh, Connor Rutz.
Yeah, Connor Rutz. I mean,
Yeah. He's with Detroit City now.
Right, and so there's a good example of depends on what the talent is, but I mean, Gabe has already definitely played on that level, So we definitely have. I've gotten to see a couple matches that way, and so that definitely would be interesting. If you get that shot next summer. I mean, obviously, that's the best thing since sliced bread as far as playing locally, since there is no more Lobo program and you're going away to college. So so that's good stuff.
So now that you've graduated, I guess one of the most recent things, probably soccer wise, that you've been able to do is play for the New Mexico Runners, play indoor soccer, and we actually have them in the comments here right now. And
shout out to Andres.
He made sure that we talk about this, and that's good. We need to. So I want to know what it's like to play for the Runners, and how do you approach indoor soccer compared to outdoor soccer? Is there a different way you approach the game? Do you have more fun with one rather than the other? And I don't know if you want to say, but
yeah. Well, indoor soccer to me is very different. The tactics that goes with it and the gameplay, it's a very different style of play. And like, you have to use the walls, which you don't have in outdoor. You don't have cleats on. Like it's very different. And just the way that people play, and like it feels like it's more aggressive and more physical than outdoor as well. And so, it's just overall it's a different game.
And they use like hockey subs, kind of, don't they? Where you can kind of come in and out.
Yeah, that was a little different for me, just to jump the wall and come in. So
does that help you like play harder for shorter bursts?
Well,
because you're going to get to rest.
Yeah, that's also what's different is that when you go in, you're playing for like 90 seconds, and so you have to be running. It's more sprint, and then you hop out. And so like that, it's just a different style of play and how you play the game.
Do you like one better than the other, or do you prefer outdoor?
Oh, I definitely prefer outdoor, but don't get me wrong, indoor is super fun. It's just a different game, but I love outdoor and be able to have more space and be able to play with more players and against players. But yeah, and make runs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that your brother also played as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was like again, you've said before that you like playing with him. So I mean, how cool was that to be able to like play with your brother like on an extended season, since you were done with outdoor and this was like kind of like your last hurrah, so to say.
Oh, that was really fun to play with him. I didn't yell at him as much as I usually do. I was more to like kind of cheer him up and try and like get him out there to play hard. And it was really fun to play with him, especially like a striker. And so we were like both up there and we were trying to score goals together. And it was super fun again.
And our runners friend here says that you scored 8 goals in 6 games this past season. So he must be reading my mind, because I wanted to know, how many goals you scored. But so was there any particular goals that you really enjoyed scoring in runners play?
Yeah, I really when I played forward and stuff, I usually it's like different tactics and different style of play. As a forward, you would be more closer to the goalkeeper and up the field, and so you'd be right next to the goal. So when someone crosses it in or takes a shot, you'd be right there just to pass it in or just be like a little ricochet to make the ball go in. And so I did that most of the time as a striker, and so I was able to put away easy goals that my teammates were able to set up for me.
That's awesome. That seems so cool to me, like being able to bounce it off the wall, and just I like that idea of a different style of play.
Yeah.
What's next, Chris?
Well, Gabe here is committed to Fort Lewis.
We did talk about, you were talking to the Lobos and you wanted to go there, but obviously that's no longer a reality. So what drew you to Fort Lewis?
Well, I did a visit up there And once I got up there, I loved everything about it, the scenery, where it's at, where the campus is at, the players, the soccer program, the coaches, the school itself. It's just an amazing place to be. And I definitely saw myself being there when I first got up there and saw everything.
That's awesome. Do you know what they're Division II, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what conference they play in? What you're going to play, like Northern Arizona, or what kind of schools do you think will be on the schedule?
It seems like more Colorado teams, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure there's Arizona teams and everything like that.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I looked at it earlier. I saw Colorado School for Mines was on there.
Okay. Maybe Colorado Mesa, stuff like that.
Yeah, and Adams State and stuff like that.
Adams State, yeah.
Yeah.
Durango's such a cool town, man. I think you're going to love it up there.
Yeah.
So are you much of a snowboarder?
Not really, but I love snowboarding. So definitely when I'm up there, I'm going to be snowboarding a lot.
Okay.
Trying to get better.
Purgatory is just, 20-minute drive from Durango.
Yeah.
Nice. That's killer. Okay, so obviously, you've spent this time with your family. So I mean, are you kind of, you think you're going to be homesick, or do you think you're going to kind of enjoy, kind of carving out your own path? I mean, what's kind of your take?
At this point, I really don't know. I feel like I'm not going to be homesick there, but there might be some days where I'm like, I miss my family. But I feel like I'm going to have fun when I get up there and just do my own thing.
Is Nick ready to take on the mantle at Cleveland?
I don't know. I have to talk to him. I have to see.
I mean, you kind of like laid out the formula for a Gatorade Player of the Year. I mean,
yeah. No, he's working super hard and he's training a lot, so he'll do really good things when it comes time.
Awesome.
Now my question for you is this: is like, so when you get that award, like, do they send you like products, or, I mean, what's kind of the swag with that?
Yeah, the swag.
Yeah. So the school gets a banner and it says my name and it says Gatorade Player of the Year. So my school puts it up with all the other banners from Gatorade Player of the Years, and then I get a backpack, Gatorade bottle, and a trophy. Yeah.
Man, they had to give them two. They had to have two banners. They had to give you like one that you could like actually put in your room.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But no.
Have there been other soccer players to get Player of the Year from Cleveland?
No, I was the first one to get it.
You're the first soccer player? Awesome.
Yeah.
But there's been other sports.
Yeah, there's been other sports. There's been a baseball player, 2 football players, and a couple of cross-country and track players.
Okay.
Well, and Josh, he's a two-time.
So now there have been 2 soccer players.
Yeah.
Hey, so what's your favorite flavor of Gatorade?
What's it called? Is it like Ice Glacier or something like that?
Like the light blue one?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Man, I love the grape ones. That's just me. I mean, the grape ones. I like to throw those things.
I love about the grape ones.
I don't know. It's just I love those, man. I guess it's. I like to throw any Gatorade in the freezer for a little while.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Get it kind of chippy, and then it's like a better drink. It's like a slushie, you know what I'm saying?
Like a popsicle in a bottle.
That's right. I mean, it's different. So, yeah, that's cool, man. I just wondered, like, what the product hookup would be. I'm surprised actually that they aren't like sending you pallets of Gatorade or anything crazy.
Actually, I totally forgot. My school also gets a bunch of like powdered Gatorade. That reminded me. They get like a bunch of powdered Gatorade. And so like the powder and you put it in water. So we get a bunch of that, and they get towels and other water bottles. I totally forgot about that.
Is it like a year's supply or?
No, it's
just a whole bunch.
It's just a bunch of like little things that my school gets, and so all the players are able to use them and everything.
That's cool.
We got Catherine Soaps in the chat room. She said that she loved watching Gabe play for the Runners this season, and that her favorite flavor is Fierce Grape.
Chris, we had talked about this before the show, and I don't think we're going to be able to do it, but it reminded me of the Pepsi Challenge in the early 90s.
Oh, I know.
Remember the Pepsi Challenge?
Yep, I sure do.
We were gonna have similar flavors, Powerade and Gatorade, and see if you could figure out which one was which.
yeah, we were working on something of the sort.
The Pepsi challenge, if I remember right, I was pretty young at the point, but they would take contestants and they would put 2 cups of soda, right? One was Coke and one was Pepsi, and they had to try to figure out which one tasted better.
Yeah, no, that we have that actually.
Nice.
There it is. Oh, we have it. I spoke too soon.
We actually do have the challenge here. You are now blindfolded, and
I ruined it, Chris.
No, you're good. We've got the flavors coming in here. All right. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
This is the first one.
All right. So here's the first one.
So he's going to tell us what flavor it is?
Yeah, he's going to tell us what flavor it is. Let's see if he's good like that. Don't smell it. Just drink it.
Oh, come on. I don't even know. Here, I need to get it.
You got to guess. All right, take another swig. Take another swig.
Do you know the name of that one, Chris? I sure don't.
Cherry? Is it?
What is the name of this one? It is a this is the
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Did I get it wrong?
It sounds like you got it.
You're on the right track.
You're on the right track. Do you want to try another flavor right now? Or?
Yeah, I'll try another flavor.
Okay. And is that one of those COVID masks that makes a good blindfold? Because that's awesome.
100%.
Okay, we got this one. We know what this one is.
Okay. Let's see if he got it. He can open it up blindfolded.
Lemon lime?
Ooh.
Is it? No?
What?
Way off.
You're not really good at this type of stuff. All I know, it's good.
Okay. So you're,
we'll give him 1 for 2 so far. He's 50-50.
Okay. Here's the next one.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know what the heck that's supposed to taste like.
This is going to be a weird name, is it?
Give us the color. If you give us the color, we'll count it.
If he could figure out the color, that'd be awesome.
Purple?
No.
No? Oh my gosh. See, like sometimes they just taste the same. Like
Interesting enough that you say that. I was drinking energy drinks like recently, and it seemed like they actually all tasted the same. They just were a hint differently.
Yeah, no, that's a fierce grape, that one. Oh, I wasn't even close. Fruit punch, okay.
Fruit punch is the second one.
Fruit punch was the one that you thought was lemon lime.
Oh, was it really?
Way off.
Oh wow. Okay. Glacier Freeze. Yeah, Glacier Freeze is my favorite, 100%. But I couldn't even tell.
Not purple flavor.
That's classic. That's classic. You know, I mean, I don't think that I would have got the white or the blue one personally. I would have got the fruit punch one because I like fruit punch Gatorade. I think that's good. I think one that would throw me off was what are those other ones like? They got, I don't know. I think the white and blue one would have been the one to maybe throw me off. Maybe that light purple one.
Have you ever had like the cucumber melon ones?
I like that one,
yeah.
But I that might have thrown me off too.
I probably would have been able to say light blue, but I wouldn't have known the name was, what was it, Glacier Freeze? I don't think I would have known the name.
Man.
Lindsay in the chat is asking if we've heard of pineapple Pepsi, and I don't think I want to try that at all.
Shout out to Lindsay. I have not heard of it. It's actually kind of funny because when I was asking your mom about Gatorade, Gabe, she said something like, I said, "What are his favorite flavors?" or something, and somehow I don't know if it was like a typo, but it came back as Daisy and Sunflower, and I was like, "What?" I'm like looking it up on the, I'm like looking it up on the internet, going, "Wait a minute, is this real?" Like
Daisy Gatorade.
they got. I'm like, they got lavender drinks. You know what I mean? You never know. You know.
Yeah, you never know at this point.
G3 or something like that. You know, the next brandings. Josh, do you have anything else you want to ask him?
I don't think I do. I don't know if we have any fan questions, but I will say I wish you the best of luck as you continue your career, and we hope to see you play locally, and even if you don't, we're still going to root for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And actually, Gabe, I will say, do you have any questions for us?
I don't think so.
Not yet, anyways. Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I'll probably talk to them later.
Right on. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. I mean, I've been wanting to really have you on this podcast. I'd say since I saw you play for the Soul, and that was interesting. I was telling Josh when Josh first came on board. I said, you never know. Okay, we will have a question. Okay, and so you never know who's going to turn up next on your local New Mexico United team. Who might play, because here's Gabe who's playing for the Rush, and all of a sudden he gets asked if he wants to play for the Soul. And so you're like, okay, now this guy is playing U23, right? And then you start to see him as high performance program, and you start to see him kind of threading the needle, if you will. And, if, other members of the program like Andres Robles or say like Lamar Bynum, if they should come up as well and have those opportunities, like things could look really interesting in the coming years. So, of course, as well as Nick. So the question that comes to us in the chat room is from Catherine Soaps. She says, what did you like most about playing for the Runners? So that's the question.
Yeah, what I liked most was just the players. They definitely were really fun to play with, to train with, and as well as as the coach, Steve Famoletta. He coached me when I was very, very young. When I first started getting into soccer, he got me interested in soccer and wanted me and made me want to play soccer more. So he definitely had a huge impact on my life with soccer, and so it was really fun to play for him again and just play with the whole entire team itself.
Right on. And I know that Clark Pets had actually shouted you out earlier too. So it's awesome. So so we don't have any more questions amongst the social media. So I guess we're just gonna kind of call it a show. So Josh, where can folks find you on the internet?
I'm on Twitter, J_Kasky. I do some writing for Seek and Strike. I try to cover the games and do some of the hockey games for the Ice Wolves as well. So kind of jack of all trades a little bit, but Twitter is probably the main place.
Yeah, you can find me at by Chris Walker on Twitter. And Gabe, where can folks stay in touch with your soccer career on the internet?
I mean, I guess my Instagram. I don't know what my name is though. Here, hold on. Let me try and see this.
I think it's Legend_Legendre, isn't it?
It is.
I think so. It is. Yeah, Legend_Legendre.
Do you know what kind of like TV broadcasting Fort Lewis is going to have?
I have no idea.
No clue.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can catch some of that streaming in on our laptops or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Go ahead.
As soon as I find out, I can text it to you or something.
Yeah, man. Just know that it's what we do at Seek and Strike is we cover obviously all the New Mexico soccer that we can get our hands on, but we also like to keep tabs of our New Mexico players that go play other places as well. So we'd definitely be trying to feature anything that you're doing at Fort Lewis, and kind of continue the story. So don't think that it ends here at all.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the runners on Facebook saying that we're proud of you, Gabe, and thank you for being part of the runners organization.
Thank you.
Right on. Well, we're going to go ahead and call it this week. Again, thank you for joining us for this episode of We Are Seek and Strike podcast, episode 14, and we'll see you next week.